on you.
Okay. Can I get your name and badge number?
Matthews, 1163.
1163?
Yep.
Cool.
Can I get your information, please?
Am I suspected of committing a crime?
I got a call
Okay.
about a suspicious person
Okay.
who is walking up and down the road, approaching houses.
Okay.
I am investigating a potential crime.
So you suspect me of being suspicious?
Do you understand why this is way more complicated than it needs to be?
Because I'm exercising my rights?
You're not.
That's why it's a problem?
exercising your rights.
I am.
You're not.
May 13th, 2022, Battle Creek, Michigan. Recently, the Battle Creek Police Department has been the focus of multiple videos showing officers acting up. Most of them center around a YouTube channel called 68 Shots and document a property dispute in which Battle Creek police officers mock the victims. The unprofessional behavior of the police department has garnered attention from huge YouTube channels such as Lackluster. It's also grabbed the attention of the much less viewed and dying mainstream media such as Wood TV8. But right around the same time, and in this completely separate incident on channel M1 Audit, Battle Creek police officers show up and prove that the misconduct and bad behavior is not just a one-time thing that one resident is dealing with. It seems to be a problem widespread throughout the entire department.
Call on you.
Okay. Can I get your name and badge number?
Matthews, 1163.
1163?
Yep.
Cool.
Can I get your information, please?
Am I suspected of committing a crime?
I got a call
Okay.
about a suspicious person
Okay.
who is walking up and down the road, approaching houses.
Okay.
I am investigating a potential crime.
Okay.
Are you going to give me your information so that I can investigate?
You suspect me of committing a crime, but I can just tell you that I was on the sidewalk. I was taking pictures of this house for a reason that the owner knows, and that's it.
Okay. So you have your ID on you.
I'm not going to provide you with ID unless I've committed a crime.
I am investigating a potential crime.
Okay.
People
What crime are you
calling
investigating?
in saying that you are taking pictures of more than one house.
Okay.
Okay? It is my job to make sure that you are not casing any houses.
Okay.
Just to be clear, she articulated that she suspects him of taking pictures of multiple houses from a public space. It really doesn't matter if he took pictures of 100 houses from the public sidewalk. It's perfectly legal and does not constitute reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime.
All right?
What crime do you suspect me of committing?
I have already explained that to you, sir. Are
Can you
going
articulate
to
a
provide
crime?
me with information that I'm requesting or not?
No. Are you going to articulate a crime?
I've already explained that to you
So
multiple times.
Yep.
Okay?
So you suspect me of being suspicious?
There was a call
Mm-hmm.
of you taking pictures and approaching houses.
It was not.
Okay? Well, that's the call. You've asked me to explain myself, and
Okay.
I'm explaining myself, and I'm explaining why we're investigating.
Okay.
I'm explaining why you are required to give me your information.
I'm not required to give you identification unless you can reasonably articulate a crime that I have committed. This is not a stop and ID state.
Folks, there is no such thing as a state where you have to provide ID unless you're suspected of a crime. There are two different types of ID laws. Some say that you don't have to give ID unless you're lawfully arrested. Others say that you have to give ID if you're simply suspected of a crime. The term stop and ID state refers to states where you don't have to be under arrest to be legally obligated to ID, but only have to be suspected of a crime to be obligated to ID. The term stop and ID state sounds as if police have the right to stop anyone anywhere with or without cause and demand ID. This is simply not the case anywhere in the United States, as it would be a direct violation of the Fourth Amendment. In no circumstance anywhere in the United States do you have to give ID unless the officer has reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime.
I have already explained that to you. Are you willing to give me your information?
No.
Okay, so you're obstructing an investigation.
I'm not obstructing. Obstructing is a secondary crime that I have to have been committed.
Who do you
I have to be
work
convicted
for?
of committing a crime in order to be obstructing.
What part of this are you failing to understand?
I'm not failing to understand
investigating
anything. I think you're failing to understand.
I'm not.
Okay.
Okay? I'm here for a legitimate reason, and I'm trying to obtain your information so
Okay.
I can verify that you're here for a legal purpose.
Okay.
Okay?
I am here for a legal purpose.
Okay. And what purpose is that?
I am doing an inspection on a house.
Okay? And who do you work for?
Why is that
So
important?
that I can call and verify that you were here and that you were an employee.
Okay. So you want my information to verify that I am here for a legitimate reason. Why wouldn't you ask the homeowner who's standing behind me?
And I can.
Okay.
That's part of my investigation. But right now, you're not cooperating with that.
I don't feel that I'm not. I feel that I am cooperating.
We could have already been done and gone with this. Okay. So I'm failing to understand why this is becoming such a process.
Because it's my rights. Like, I'm standing up for my rights. So my right, my Fourth Amendment right, says that you cannot seize my identity unless I have been I'm suspected of committing a crime. You have yet to articulate with reasonable suspicion a crime that I have committed. I have dispelled, I believe, any evidence of me committing a crime by telling you that I'm here, I am inspecting a house.
Okay.
So what crime have I committed? Or do you suspect me of committing?
Can I speak?
Go right ahead.
Okay. As I've explained multiple times, we got a call that said that you were taking pictures and approaching multiple houses. That you are currently at this house. Okay?
Yep.
Entering onto other people's properties.
Not a true statement.
Okay. And I don't know that.
Okay.
Because I have somebody who's saying that happened.
Okay.
People lie to us all the time.
Yes.
Okay. It's my job to investigate.
Yep.
And identify people who could be potentially committing crimes in the neighborhood, which in this case is the concern.
Okay.
All right. I need your identification.
No, you don't.
So that I can verify. Okay.
So I would suggest that you talk to the complainant.
This wrong?
Can I request supervisor?
This is actually really sad because police aren't ever actually taught the law. They're trained to do certain things and not to do certain things, but they're never taught the law. This woman has been taught and trained like a dog, to get ID out of every single person that she comes across when she gets a call. You and I have also been taught and trained like dogs to give ID and comply with anything an officer asks us to comply with at any time. On the rare occasion that somebody's actually studied and understands the law and their rights, it throws a wrench into these things and confuses the trained dog. The dog is doing exactly what it was trained to do, but for some reason it's not getting the results that it's used to getting. The dog is stumped, confused, has no idea what to do anymore. I think that Officer Matthews is probably a pretty decent person who's just trying to do the right thing, but she's been taught and trained wrong. And it's unfair that when I called the department and asked if they would educate Officer Matthews, they refused. Officer Matthews' handler likes that she doesn't know right from wrong because it makes it a lot easier to get her to do wrong. And since she has qualified immunity, she'll never actually be held accountable for her own actions, and so she'll never be incentivized to figure out what's right and wrong for herself. She'll continue to do what her master trains her to do. Nothing more, nothing less.
I need your identification.
No, you don't.
So that I can verify. Okay.
So I would suggest that you talk to the complainant.
This wrong?
Can I request supervisor? I'm requesting a supervisor. I'm formally requesting a supervisor, Officer Matthews.
Okay. And I'm formally requesting your information. Not to mention...
Is that a lawful order?
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Okay.
You're attempting to use the color of law, which would be violating my rights.
You're not violating your Fourth Amendment rights.
Yes, you are. You're attempting to. You have not done it yet, but you're attempting to. What's your name and badge number, please?
Right
Is
here.
that how you answer the judge?
This is right here.
That's how you answer the judge? You just point at your...
right here.
Yeah.
You see her.
So Hickman, and your badge number is?
44. Right
44.
here.
Thank you.
This is just unnecessary unprofessionalism in retaliation for the man not responding the way that the dogs were taught he should respond.
The other concern is that if you are going house to house, which is the call that we got, is that you have to have a license in order to do that. So have you filed a license with the city of Battle Creek?
So that is if I am peddling or panhandling, which I am doing neither of which.
Which is also what we're trying to identify, right?
Okay.
Which is also a crime.
Okay.
So I do have a legal right to obtain your identification, as I've explained on multiple occasions.
So I am not peddling. Sir, have I solicited you for anything?
understand why this is way more complicated than it needs to be?
Because I'm expressing my rights. I'm exercising my rights.
You're not
That's why it's a problem?
exercising your rights.
I am.
You're not. I've explained the legal right that I have to obtain that information.
No.
And you are
The
obstructing that investigation
secondary crime.
and not allowing me to further
So cite me give me a statute that tells me that you suspect me of committing a crime. Cite the statute.
a statute, sir?
Yes, you have to cite a
I
statute.
don't
You
have
have
to
to
cite.
supply
I've
me with
already
reasonable,
articulated
articulated suspicion
and I
of a
already-
crime. What is the crime that you suspect me of committing?
I've explained that multiple times.
Sir?
I don't know how else to explain that to you.
Can I talk to you for a second? Come in there and talk to you? Yeah, yeah. That's all. Come in there. Yeah.
Unfortunately, the homeowner decides to talk to the police. He must not have had his own personal experience yet that teaches him it's always a bad idea to talk to the police. As the dogs leave, they're rude and retaliatory towards the home inspector for exercising his rights.
Michael, you have a good day. Take care.
Can I request the incident number? Officer Matthews, are you not going to provide me with the incident number when I requested it? Or the supervisor when I requested the supervisor?
If you want to talk to somebody, you can call, okay?
Okay, who's your...
I'm not provide you with your information. I'm not going to provide you with an incident number because I don't know who you are.
What's your sergeant's name?
It's Sergeant Henley.
Sergeant Henley? Okay, perfect. Thank you. I'll be filing up with a formal complaint.
Thank you for calling the Sergeant's Office, Battle Creek Police Department.
Hello, you have reached the Sergeant's office for the Battle Creek Police Department. The Sergeant is not available to answer your call right now, but please leave a message and one will return your call shortly.
Hey, how you doing? This is James Freeman. I just wanted to call and get some information from you guys about the video with Officer Matthews. I just wanted to before I publish another follow-up video, wanted to be able to let the people know if you guys had done anything to address the issues with Officer Matthews trying to bully people for exercising their rights, and then refusing to give an incident number in retaliation for someone exercising their rights. Typically, I don't get responses when I do leave messages like this, but I like to always give the police department an opportunity to give their side and let the people know that they're fixing the issue before I publish the video. So this is that opportunity. My number is... The Battle Creek Police Department never returned my call, and therefore it can be assumed that they intend to encourage and allow Officer Matthews to continue to violate people's rights and retaliate against people when they exercise their rights.